So how do you actually use an index in Elasticsearch? Well, there's three ways we can talk about. One is the RESTful API. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of REST queries, let me explain it at a very high level. It's just like how you request a web page from a web server from your web browser on your desktop. So when you're requesting a web page on your browser like Chrome or whatever you use, what's happening is that your browser is sending a REST request to a web server somewhere. And for every REST request, it has a verb like get or put or post, and some sort of body that specifies what it is that you want to get back. So for example, if you're looking for a web page, you would send the REST query for a get verb, and then that get would request a specific URL that you want to retrieve from that web server. Now, Elasticsearch works exactly the same way over the same HTTP protocol that web servers work across. So this makes it very easy to talk to Elasticsearch from different systems. So for example, if you were searching for something on Elasticsearch, you would issue a GET request through a REST API over HTTP, and the body of that GET request would contain the information about what it is that you want to retrieve in JSON format. We'll see examples of this later on. But the beautiful thing about this is that if you have a language or an API or a tool or an environment that can handle HTTP requests, just like talking to the web normally, then it can also handle Elasticsearch. You don't need anything beyond that if you understand how to structure the JSON requests for Elasticsearch. Then any language that can talk to HTTP can talk to an Elasticsearch server. And most of this course is going to focus on doing it that way, just so you understand how things work at a lower level and what Elasticsearch is capable of under the hood. But you don't always have to do it the hard way. If you're accessing Elasticsearch from some application you're writing, like a web server or a web application, often there will be a client API that provides a level of abstraction on top of those REST queries. So instead of trying to figure out how do I construct the right JSON format for the type of search that I want, or inserting the kind of data that I want, there's a lot of client APIs out there that can make it easier for you. They just have specialized APIs for searching for things and putting things into the index without getting into the nitty-gritty of constructing the actual request itself. So whether you're using Python or Ruby or Perl or C++ or Java, there is an API out there that you can just use. Now in this course, we're going to focus on using the RESTful APIs and not these higher-level clients. I don't want to single out one language as the only language that we used in this course. If I were to go through this whole course using only the Java client, it would be useless to people coding in JavaScript or Python, for example. But all of the different clients in every language boil down to REST calls in the end. So if you understand the underlying HTTP requests that these clients generate, you can understand any of the client APIs. And you'll be able to move more easily from one language to another too. So please don't get upset that I'm not going to teach you how to write Java or any other specific language to use Elasticsearch. The lower level information I'm giving you will make it easy to use the Java Client API or the API for any other language. Finally, there are even higher level tools that can be used for analytics, and one that we'll look at in this course is called Kibana. It's part of the larger Elastic Stack, and that is a web-based graphical UI that allows you to interact with your indices and explore them without writing any code at all. So it's really more of a visual analysis tool that you can unleash upon pretty much anyone in your organization. So in order of low-level to higher-level API, there are RESTful queries that you can issue from whatever language you want. You can use client APIs to make things a little bit easier, or you can just use web-based UIs to get the information you need as well. So those are the basic concepts of how Elasticsearch is structured and how you interface with it. With that under our belt, we can talk more about how it works under the hood and how its architecture works.